All right. Welcome. What's going on, Michael?
How you doing, brother? How you doing?
Doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. All right. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the 5 a.m. Club After Hours, where we discuss finance, business, faith, just what it takes to be a successful man. And we have a very successful man here today, Michael. And I'll let him introduce himself. Very interesting guy, but I'll let you go, Michael, and introduce yourself.
Well, first off, thanks for having me on. Hi guys, I'm Michael. I am the co-founder of Fleek Sleek. We're a digital marketing agency. Cover anything under marketing. Focus more on the lead generation space. So your websites, your paid media, your graphics, content creation, organic social media, pretty much all the fun stuff when it comes to marketing.
Yeah, interesting. So, one thing I did want to ask you, I didn't ask you yesterday, but how did you come up with the name Fleek Sleek? Fleek
Yeah,
Sleek?
Fleek Sleek. So really funny story. So how when I met my partner, he was doing websites, I was just doing content. We're saying stuff back and forth. We're like, man, we should just make a company at this point. And it just like kind of popped up. We needed LLC, we needed processing. And one night, it's probably like 2 o'clock in the morning. And he's like, we think of Fleek Sleek. And I was like, that'd be a really cool like t-shirt company. He goes, no, for the digital marketing. And I was like, well, we need LLC, so let's just do it and we'll figure it out later. And we just 6 years later, we've never changed it. So we were like, oh, it's Fleek websites. They're sleek. I don't know where the Fleek came from, but yeah, that's how the name came up. Was he just thought at 2 o'clock in the morning?
Bro, that really stands out. Fleek
Mhm.
Sleek. Like you could never forget that. Like if you see it once, you're like, dang.
Yeah,
damn
we
it
thought it
look-
was kind of cool, but some people are like, oh, it's Fleek Seek, and they're like, they forget the L. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's FLEEK. Yeah. So it
that-
sometimes
that's
get a little
dope.
mixed up, but we own both domains. So it works.
I got you. I got you. So let's talk about early wins, right? So
Mhm.
what were early branding wins and mistakes you experienced in creating this marvelous company that you have?
The biggest thing we've learned when it comes to branding, it's a great question. I think being able to adapt to the audience, right? So our branding personally has changed twice. So the branding we had in the beginning compared to the branding we have now are completely different. Right before we were just a website company. We were just making websites super fast, $100 a month. And then over time it has changed to a full market agency. Like we didn't come out of the box doing ads and doing SEO and SEM. We just started websites and content. And so our message was so much different than it is now. Now our message is we help service-based industries generate leads through paid advertising. Before it was we help you make a one-page website. That was pretty much what we did. So that was something we've had to learn is like you're going to adapt in your brand to pretty much stay alive. And so like I was on the phone with a buddy earlier today where there's a SaaS company out there that now has to change their whole entire brand because of the way the pretty much their whole entire path is going. So be able to learn how to adapt, but kind of keep those core principles is going to be very important with your brand.
Yeah, that is amazing. That's amazing. So some of the things that I coach is that adaptability when you are planning and you're trying to structure business out. But that's good to hear. So when you were adapting, were there mistakes that you made, or was there like you just saw the market shifting, or like your market shifted? Like what was it that stood out to you that why you shifted that way?
Yeah, so we shifted. So when we first started, we are making about $100 a month websites, right? It was when COVID happened. I was working really close in the fitness industry. So personal trainers, they couldn't really go into the gym and work out, right? So they had to switch everything online, which is like easy, cool, guys. Like get a trainerize. I'll make you one-page website with like testimonials and before and afters, and we'll get live. Well, we realized over time other brands would fall off, and we were trying to increase the MMR. So when we were looking at it, we're like, okay, we have a good basis of people that pay $100 a month for a website, but we're like, okay, we have to like almost adapt, like we can expand that. And then we tried to expand it, realized we weren't as good as we thought with ads, and we had to learn a little bit more with it and like learn from other people. So it took us a little bit to really understand the advertising space. You can't just like jump into it and be like, cool, I'm gonna take one course and learn everything about ads. Like you're gonna have to like very closely to the adaption part of ads change every single month. So you have to almost keep with that market. That course you bought 3 years ago is not gonna be the same today. Same kind of structure, but not the way audiences will look at. So yeah, we didn't do that well when we first launched ads about 3 years ago. I'll tell you that for sure. We thought we knew what we were doing, but we didn't. Now we're a lot more confident than we've ever been.
Yeah. So what makes a brand stand out? Like what makes a brand like pop out to someone versus other brands? Like what can you do to make that brand stand out when you're working with a client?
I think be able to look at a brand and understand their whole entire message in one word. I think that's what I really look at. Like think of this, you see over 10,000 ads a day. And I'm talking billboards, TV ads, on your phone, in the newspapers, you see over 10,000 a day. So you're gonna have to make your brand very easy to ingest and to consume. So when we look at a brand, it's one to third grade level. I know you and I talked about that yesterday, of being able to look at something, understand it right away. And the best way to do that is try to think of your one word, right? If your one word is like scale, or your one word is legacy, or one word is like weight loss. Like if you think of like, is your brand as one word and you put everything around it, it's gonna be easier for your consumer to look at it and to understand that and to remember yourself a little bit more. Mm-hmm. Like you look at Lulu, it's comfort. Like I'm wearing all Lulu right now. It's just comfortable. And so I look at their stuff, like their branding is comfort. Like everything they use for colors and photos and design their website. It's just easy. It's easy to wear, easy to consume, easy to order. I think it's just something that's comfortable.
Yeah, that's dope. So just like Lulu or Nike or any other brand that stands out, it's like they tell a story with that one word, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I guess the next question I have is, what can you do to show that story? Like, how do you guys meet a client and then say, we need to tell your story? Like, what type of information do you need? Like, what's the process?
I believe photos and videos, I'll do photos more than anything else. I think photos really tell the story, right? Everyone says a photo is 1,000 words. And it's very true. Not many people are going to read, right? You have the longest landing page with all the best copy and everything. It's great for SEO. It's fantastic. But if you look at some of the best websites out there, best branding, it comes from what the feeling is from that photo. I think Nike did a great job about 2 weekends ago. They had Scotty Scheffler with his son and saying, like, you already won. It was a photo of him and his son just like on the golf course. That one photo made you feel something, understand that brand from the photo. You didn't have to have a caption on it. I think that's what makes a huge difference, is having really good imagery that's going to separate you. Plus, it's going to increase your trust. And people look at it and go, okay, I understand the feel. I understand the trust. I understand what they're trying to go after in just one photo.
Yeah, so photos do tell 1,000 words. But many times I feel like entrepreneurs underestimate the value of branding, and they want to jump right into marketing, right into selling their product when people don't even know who they are. But what can you tell entrepreneurs as far as the importance of branding and why you want to have a solid brand?
So there's two different types. There's your company brand, your personal brand. Which one we want to dive into?
Let's do personal and then go into company.
Okay. So personal it's not a newer concept. I think it's been around for the past decade, but most entrepreneurs, let me say this, you don't have to have a personal brand to have a successful business. This will be very straightforward. My business partner is nowhere to be found online and has a very successful company, right? So, but it's also, I think personal brands can make you expand down the road. And that's why we focus so much. I know you and I both focus on personal brands, right? We're doing podcasts, we're doing live streams, we're doing the clips on Instagram, we're doing talking heads, we're doing the email list, we're doing everything. is not much of what your companies do, but what you stand for, right? Your intro said it perfectly. It's family, it's faith, it's finance. That's what you really focus on, right? So, but that's also the same pillars you're now going to bring into business. So I think if you can trust the person as what their pillars are, you can almost trust the same exact thing when it comes to business. I think Elon Musk is a fantastic personal brand. I know some people might have their thoughts and feelings about him, but you understand who he is, you understand what he stands for, and that really does correlate to his companies, right? Same with Mark Cuban, same with Steve Jobs back in the day. But you see these guys and they bring those personal feelings into their companies because that is them. So I think personal brand is super important, especially when it comes to a trust aspect.
Yeah, and I think when it comes to partnerships and networking and things like that, your personal brand really matters because if someone sees you online and then you see them in person, you're more inclined to have a conversation with them because you're like, oh yeah, like I like what you do, and then that opens the door for more opportunities from a scale perspective. Like you say, it can help you scale in the future. But if you just are trying to appease, and this is just my opinion, appease just the masses, which you're never going to make 100% people of the people in the world happy, period. So you have to really be authentic when you are building a personal brand, I feel like, because if you're not, that fakeness and the facade is going to be revealed sooner or later. So that's why I say I'm faith-based. I like working out, so I'm disciplined. You know, I go to the gym. I show that a lot, and I show my family a lot. Now, also, I'm knowledgeable about growth and building businesses, and I like to talk about that. Like I really have a passion towards it. I think Elon Musk, he is very passionate in creating new innovative things in Tesla and other industries as well. And that's why people flock to him because they're like, he's going to work as hard as anybody. And he's a billionaire. So people will want to work with him because they know he's going to work hard.
I think something you say, like, if you see the person online and meet in person, are they going to be the same exact person? I ran into Alex Ramosi out of nowhere. I was in Vegas. And he was literally the same person he is online that he is in person. And then I was like really impressed. I fangirled, don't get me wrong. But like whenever I was like, you are exactly the person that you talk about online. We were talking about his book, and I was like, yep, same as that person. Like I feel like I've talked to the guy multiple times.
Froze a little bit, but I'm back.
You're good.
Technical issues, guys, but we're back. But yeah, is he like very high energy, like that, that guy that you see?
Very strong pointed, right? So like the way when he talked, like you listened, kind of thing. But like the first question, like, hey, when I started, I was like, hey, I love your book. And he went to it, he goes, what did you take away from it? Like, what did you learn? And I was like, oh, that's a good question. Because there's a lot of stuff you learned. But like he's looking for feedback. Because I was his audience, right? I'm a business owner that's scaling, and he's looking for business owners that are scaling. So he's like, you are my audience. I want to hear from the horse's mouth. And it wasn't me like, he acted like, oh yeah, I'm this big guy. He goes, I'm always trying to learn too. That's what he's trying to be like. I was like, oh, this is interesting. Now I'm giving him my 2 cents. So yeah, it's very pointed when he was talking.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest thing, man. Like a lot of people go away from pleasing the people that are paying for things that you are selling to them. Like you always have to be better. You cannot be stagnant ever in whatever you're developing. You have to get that feedback. You have to enhance anything that you're doing. And that's what I love about what you guys are doing too, because in the earlier conversation we had, you started out making websites and you're like, if you would have just kept making websites, you would have just not been able to stay afloat really. Like it gets very diluted in my opinion. But I love that. And I love that you met Alex and he's the same person as well. So I have another question for you. What's one marketing strategy that works surprisingly well for Fleek Sleek?
The agency model. It's not much of a marketing. It's very much of we work with a lot of other agencies. that just specialize in one thing, right? So they might have an agency that just specializes in TV, but not very specialized in like Google ads or Facebook ads. So, but they understand the benefit of it. Instead of them trying to learn it and to adapt and bring on team members, they come to us. And that's when we've grown a lot of our clientele is from other agencies that just specialize in what they do. And then we come on as like almost the icing on the cake and be like, hey, let's partner together. We can grow this thing as one. Instead of being like, oh, you're my competition, or I'm not work with you because you might have this other client that we're trying to get, but we lost, like that thing. It's like, no, we should all work together in this space because we also might all have different ideas, and that other idea might work better than what we thought was. So that's a strategy we do, is very almost referral based. It's a market strategy we really do, but I am more of a personal brand on my side. So they see it and they go, oh, cool, it's worked with this guy. So it could be almost like, hey, my personal brand's what really brings a lot of clients in. Yes, but it's more the relationships we built with other agencies is what brings most of our revenue in.
So I think it's your personal brand, yes, and also the quality of work that you guys produce too. So you get their attention with your personal brand, and then it moves over to, oh, you guys are really good as well. Because a lot of people, they can have a good personal brand, but their work sucks, right? Let's be honest. Like their work, it sucks. So when you have both and it comes together, more people will want to partner with you, because when you're partnering with someone, you have to believe in them as well. You have to be able to say, I know they're going to produce good work, and my name isn't going to be tarnished if I add my name to what they're doing, or if you get added to something. So that's how I feel about it, and I can see it. So that's good. Like, and that leads me to my next question, though, not to just jump around, but do you prioritize content creation or community building more?
I think content creation, and then that one-on-one interaction with the people, right? So you can build the content, and then that content can spike a question in someone, and they can reach out to you. And then you build that one-on-one relationship with them. I've never really focused on the community side, like the school or anything like that. I've never really focused on it. My focus is on being able to help one person at a time and expand from there.
Yeah. I guess they're kind of the same. If you like, way the same in a sense, because I do think communities bring in a lot of value, because you know, in that community, you can have people with different skill sets, and maybe they can reach out directly to you one-on-one. You know, you just know you have like-minded people that want the same thing. I just had this conversation with a lady out of Florida, and she's into brokerage and stocks and investments and giving people advice. And I was asking her, like, what do you think about communities? And she was like, I think they're dope, because once they come in, then you know that they're there for a reason, instead of like being out and people just looking at your stuff and not really serious about what they're trying to do. If somebody pays a large amount of money to enter a community, then you know they're invested. And what I've learned over time, if the number is just that they pay is just a number to show how much they're committed. Because if someone pays $5 or doesn't pay at all, they may miss calls. They may not prioritize their time, because people correlate time with money. So if you have a lot of time and you don't have a lot of money, then sometimes it can be looked at as a negative piece. But I think, you know, to each his own, like tomato. I think I like communities, and I also like one-on-ones, and I understand why you like one-on-ones. I think communities is something that I like as well. All right, so let's jump right into another question. What platform has been the most valuable for your business growth? Instagram, TikTok, you know, YouTube. What platform do you use?
I think there's a healthy mix. I think Instagram is what is a good top of funnel, but then YouTube actually adds the authority. I actually get more viewership on my YouTube than I do any other platform. I think it takes up like 50% of my actual views. My shorts get a lot more views than they do on Instagram. I think the YouTube just pushes it a little bit more. But I think there's a healthy mix between understanding your top of funnel, and then understanding your authoritative, right? So you could be really, really good on TikTok, but the DM platform sucks. So people might go to your Instagram to DM you. And then vice versa. Your YouTube might be your top funnel, but then they come to your email or your Twitter to actually DM you. But for my personal self, I think it's Instagram is what people normally find me on. And then they go to YouTube and authoritative, and they come back to Instagram to DM me.
Okay. So I have a one-off question, right? So LinkedIn, right? How do you feel that LinkedIn should be used? Because I know you're on LinkedIn as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's growing, and I guess it's changing, because it used to be one way, now it's another. But how do you feel about LinkedIn, and how do you feel you should use LinkedIn in this time that we live in right now?
It's a good question. I focus on LinkedIn the least. Mm-hmm. And the reason for that is, one, I feel like the other platforms have larger reach. I think LinkedIn's very niche. I think it does work for certain type of industries. If you are very much the business oriented, like I'm talking about corporate business, 100% go LinkedIn. That's just not where my audience is. My audience is going on Instagram, trying to figure out how they can grow. That's where most of my audience is.
Yeah, I was just wondering, and because I'm okay, like I have a good amount of people on LinkedIn, but when it's certain things that I post on LinkedIn, it doesn't resonate with the audience like it would on Instagram or YouTube. Just like you, my YouTube shorts get way more views than my Instagram shorts or my Instagram posts, but I have my links. So a lot of my YouTube subscribers, they may go to my Instagram, right?
Yep.
So I don't really use TikTok. Like I don't like maybe I'm old. I don't know.
Yeah.
I was already using it.
It's very hit or miss. Personally, for myself, my TikTok doesn't do anything. I have clients that get the most viewership on TikTok, and then that brings in most of their clients. Like for LinkedIn, for example, one of my companies, we use LinkedIn as an outreach tool, but that's also reached out to employees, not much the business owners. So there is a play, but you have to understand what platform works for best. Like YouTube works great for both of us, right? Our Instagram works great. My TikTok doesn't do anything. My LinkedIn does nothing except get spam. That's all it is. But for some of our clients, those are the best performing platforms, are their LinkedIn or are their TikTok.
Yeah, TikTok. I never really got into it. So some of your clients. So what's the biggest difference, like from what you see? So I know you said some of your clients, they get a lot of clients from TikTok. Like what do they do that stands out on TikTok? Is it the teaching model? Is it like what are they doing on TikTok? Because I know a lot of people are wondering.
Controversy works well, really, really well on TikTok. Let's say that. There's two. Well, so funny. We launched the TikTok for one of the clients, and he calls me, goes, "Oh my gosh, like third video got 30,000 views," and I was like, "Well, yeah, you're talking about finance." And it spurred up a controversy. It's usually sex and money that sells the best. And if you have one of those two, it's going to get the most views because people love the dopamine rush of both, honestly. So if you're just over here teaching, yeah, not a lot of people are going to listen. But if you're talking about something, you're making claim, like a strong claim statement, those keyboard warriors are going to come after you. And the more attention you got, the more it's going to get shown. And that's just how it works.
So that goes like into like hooks, right? I know you probably know about hooks, right?
45 seconds, you gotta get their attention.
Yeah, and I know a lot of like this man versus woman stuff gets a lot of views online. The man should be doing this, the woman should be doing this. And me personally, I don't like controversy. Like I don't like the negativity. Like I don't like being negative. But I can tell my wife, like, if people know my personality, they may think some of the things that I say are negative things, but they're really not. It's just I'm very direct about what I believe in and my approaches, but I don't push my beliefs on anyone and say you shouldn't be doing anything. It's just me. But like the controversy, I get it. It's good for clicks, but it's not authentic to me if you're just doing it for clicks or to stir, which is a great marketing idea. I think you can bring people, funnel people in, but just me personally, and maybe that's where I'm messing up. Maybe I need to stir the pot a little bit. I don't know.
I am the least controversial person. I do not like controversy, but I'll 100% use it as clickbait on my YouTube videos all day. All day I'll use it, but it's not really like, oh, you're watching the video, you're like, oh, okay. I understand why he titled it that way, but I'm not a very controversial person. I don't want the controversy.
All right, so let's jump back into the questions. I know you've interviewed a lot of people, a lot of people, well-known people that have major success. What's one of the takeaways that, from one of the interviews that you want to give back to people? Like what can you say? Like, I learned this from this person and this helped me.
I think the overall umbrella is sometimes you have to be stupid enough to keep going. Is one of the biggest ones. I think one of the most memorable ones is as a close friend of mine, a great friend. He said that if you knew you were 10 mistakes away from massive success, how fast would you fail? And that's a very true statement of like how many times, if you knew, like I go off this, like you can go on 100 dates. And if you do that to the 101 date, you're gonna find the person. How many times are you gonna find 100 dates to go on? Because you know the 101 is the person. It's a very true statement of you're just gonna keep going until you get there. It's only you have to be stupid enough to keep doing it to get to that point. And that's one of the biggest takeaways I've realized.
So I know you said fail, like if you were 10 mistakes away, how fast would you fail? So after people fail the first time, what should they do? Should they just take the same approach or review what happened and keep going? I know it's a pretty, like, I guess, dumb question in a sense.
Very good. Well, it's the thing of definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. And so it's very true statement. Okay, this didn't work. Why didn't it work? And let's try this. And that's what all marketing is. Like you're A/B testing all day. And some things might not work, but you now know, okay, let's not do that again. Let's try this out. So it's just adapting and be able to just change things up and be able to learn from mistakes.
Yeah. And I know you say you're very data driven, just like I am. Like data makes decisions for you. Like whether people know it or not, that data matters. So if it's an entrepreneur out there and they're just getting it wrong, what can you tell them to help them use data to get it right the next time? Like, what can they do?
Focus on one KPI at a time. And if it's like, okay, I just need people to, let's say you're doing a Facebook ad, and you just want traffic to your website. You're not focused on time on page and all that fun stuff. You just want the cost per click to go down. What video and what creative is getting you the cheapest cost per click? If you can just focus on one KPI for now and then be able to like, okay, now let's focus on time on page. What creative is giving me the best time on page? And what's giving me the best conversion? Now you can start adapting with it. But if you've never tested KPIs or anything, start with one thing. It doesn't have to be Facebook ads. It could literally just be, okay, what videos are giving me the most views? If views is your KPI, stick with that. If you keep switching back and forth, you're going to have very switch back and forth results.
So let's talk to a third grader. So tell people, I know what KPIs are, but
key performance indicators. It stands for key performance integrator. It's the one number you can focus on. If it's followers, it's followers. If it's time on page, it's time on page. If it's views, it's views. It's just one number you can focus on.
Yeah. So guys, that's what KPIs are. I know, data drives success, and even sports teams, like they go off of heavy data nowadays, even when sitting different athletes out, how injuries occur. So I'm telling you guys, whether you're in sports, you're in tech, you're in marketing, you're in the gym, you could be in the gym. You need to focus on one thing and measure that, So
Even now dating, I actually had a sheet of like all my outreach, what worked and what didn't work. I wasn't guessing. It was there. It worked.
Oh, KPI dating. Okay.
Yeah,
KPI
it worked.
That's
It did for a month. That wasn't that crazy.
All right. So let's get into a speed round here, Michael. So first one, what's the most underrated marketing tool in 2025?
Guerrilla marketing.
Say that again.
Guerrilla marketing. I think yard signs are really underestimated. I think signs outside your business, anything that can be like physically seen, besides billboards, that's a whole different story. But if you can do yard signs, you can put scenes of people's cars. If you can just get into people's hands, is the most underrated things people do not look at. Is huge. I was telling one of my clients. Actually, I went into a client's business earlier last week. And I asked the person, I was like, how did you find out about them? And he goes, oh, I saw a sign outside. It was a handwritten sign that said, we offer X service. And he's like, I've been looking for that service. It's a handwritten sign just out there.
That is crazy. Signs. I would have never thought in the digital age that a sign would attract people. But it's funny because I just on the way home from the gym, I was walking. I was like, man, I need my car washed. And I looked over and it said, hey, we pressure wash cars, detail vans, 18-wheelers. And I took a picture of the sign. And I said, I'm going to call them when I get a chance. So signs.
If you have 50,000 people drive past this intersection every single day, and they just see nails, one of those 50,000 people are going to think your $10 sign after a week. They're going to need their nails done. It's just, they're there. It's like the same thing with like if you're going to pay $1 for a follower, like an actual follower, they're going to see your organic stuff every single day. And at one point, they're going to see your stuff.
That's great advice. So signs, guys, create some signs, put some signs out, put it in your yard, put it in the gym, put it on like whatever you need it, wherever you need to put it out. So another question in this speed round. So if Fleek Sleek were a celebrity, who would it be?
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen.
I'm a big Bills fan, so I think he's just a fun guy and just performs.
So you're a Bills fan, but you live. Are you from New York or
because your dad's side? Yeah,
okay,
dad's family's in Buffalo, New York. So I usually go once a year to Buffalo and Syracuse to go check out games.
You should be a Cardinals fan. I know you're in.
I went to the Buffalo versus Cardinals game last year. Funny story. It was in Buffalo.
The Buffalo Bills fan. There you go. Josh Allen, Fleek Sleek. All right. So I got another question for you. One word that describes your brand.
Personal brand or business brand?
Let's give one word for personal brand and one word for business brand.
Personal, inspirational, business growth.
Inspirational.
That's how I look at it. I want to inspire other kids that didn't do well in school, that they can do whatever they want and be able to do it. And then business-wise, we just focus on growth. That's all we focus on. No matter what stage you're on in your business, what's one way to get you 1% better?
Got you. So I know you said inspirational. So what's one piece of branding advice you live by?
Authentically yourself. And I'll say I wasn't that for a little while. I was trying to put a face on, and I realized, I met someone, they're like, they're not who you are online. I was like, yeah, I can tell. I need to smile more because I don't smile online. And so I had to switch that, and it took a little bit to redo it, but being authentically just yourself and they'll just be like, hey, this is who I am.
So how has that worked for you, being your authentic
so much
self?
Easier. So much easier. Bill, put the camera on, just start talking and just be like, yep, that's it. And like, this is what we think about. Like, all right, I don't need to be polished. It's just say what you want to say.
Yeah, I just had a conversation with a real estate agent out of Houston, and she was like, I thought that, she's a little country, and she was like, I thought when I talk, people were going to, go away from me because I'm around all of these, well-polished people. And I was like, well, that's not your people. Like you have a great personality, so show that. Show your true self. Your audience will come, and that's how you're gonna sell more homes. Because right now people don't trust you because you're being fake. That's what it is.
Exactly. People buy from people, and that's what it ended up being like. You can be as polished as you can, but at the end of the day, they're also a person. They probably think the same way you are. Like if you're talking to a VC, venture capitalist, next thing you know, you didn't know he loves NASCAR. And you never said that. You just like, yeah, I went to NASCAR event in October. Like, oh, he's like, dude, I love NASCAR. It's like you never thought a VC likes NASCAR. You think it's blue collar. But it's like you just build a relationship with the guy.
One thing that I've learned about being in corporate when I was at a bunch of different organizations, I would go in and think that they were these uptight people and do no wrong, just always about work, very technical and things like that. And then once I got into the rooms with these people, they were just like me. It was no difference. Like I used to be so frightened and scared to get in front of people and present what my specialty was because I thought that they were way smarter than me. And I think that's the worst thing that you could do is think that somebody is smarter than you just because they're in another position. Don't put limits on yourself. That's what I could tell the younger audience from my perspective, because I've been there. I thought people were smarter than me just because they got a break that I didn't get. That's really what it is.
I think it comes down to like you can always learn from someone, from anyone. So I love flying. Like I would just meet someone on the plane and just start talking to them. And just learn something.
I believe that as well. So let's give some final gems here. I know we're about 40 minutes in, but let's give some final gems. So what's one lesson you wish you knew before starting your first business?
Having a really good accountant that understands. Yes, just get a good accountant. Just trust me. Because you do not want to make the mistakes. They'll save you more than you think you can. Because again, numbers don't lie. So have a really good accountant. That's the best advice I can give. Yeah,
I might need that number because my wife and I we made some mistakes here.
Deja, love Deja. It's in our contract. So when we bring on a new partnership, like we actually like with a growth partner, we get equity a company. She does our books for that company because we trust her so much for it. So that's expertise. Love you guys.
Yeah. I can tell you what not to do.
Oh yeah. I call her randomly. I'm like, question, can I write off? I just bought a Speedmaster and I was like, can I write off a watch? She goes, no. I was like, that's all I needed to know.
Yeah, I had experience with bringing family members in that said they knew what they were doing. No, I need to know that you know what you're doing. Like, I'm not doing that ever again. No, and I think that's a big thing. Like, you want to take everyone with you, but everyone can't come on your journey. I've learned that too. So that's one thing I can say.
They can support you.
Yeah, they can support, but some people can't. I think about it like this: you can't go up a ladder with a lot of weight, right?
Yeah.
You can only carry so much weight up a ladder. But once you get to the top, you could say, hey, come up this ladder.
Yeah.
I have everything set up for you.
That's a good analogy. Now, I actually really like that. That's a good one. Okay, I'm still not by the way.
Steal it. You can have it. Because I've tried to take everyone in my seat bag, because I was in the Navy. So I try to put everybody in my seat bag. Once I started making money and I started learning different things, like, hey, come on, do this. And my bag just kept getting heavier and heavier until I fell off the ladder. And then I had to get back up by myself, get back up. Because once you fall, you're like, okay, we'll wait for you to get back.
Yeah, we'll take a step back. Just go in the corner. Yeah.
But all right, I think that wraps it up, man. Is there anything that you want to tell the audience before we end the call?
No, I've actually one question for you. Obviously, you're older than me. What's one piece of advice you give someone in your 20s?
In my 20s.
It could be business, it could be personal, it could be any type of advice. You run into a random 25-year-old on the street. I'm 26, but random guy in the 20s. Ask you, what's one piece of advice you give personal business, whatever.
I got it. And this is business, personal, anything that you do in your 20s, hurry up and do it and learn what not to do. You have so much time to not get it right in your 20s, but you have to always learn from your mistakes in your 20s. So when you get to my age, you'll have so many nuggets and so much knowledge to build off of. What we as people we do is say, I don't know if I could do that, or you're fearful of it, especially being a 20-year-old to your 30s. You're like, I want to party, I want to do this, I have time. But really, when you think about it, you don't really have that much time. So right when you hit 20, start making mistakes and learning from your mistakes. And then when you get to 30, you'll be so knowledgeable and have so much experience that anything that you do, you'll have that muscle built up in you, in your brain, to always pull from. So I'll say make mistakes, learn from your mistakes, and just keep pushing.
I love it. Perfect. Well, dude, I appreciate you having me on. It means a lot. That's an honor.
Yeah, and I appreciate you coming on, man. I know we'll talk again, but tell everyone where they can find you, your website, your Instagram, your YouTube, your TikTok that no one looks at.
Yes. Well, that's a funny one. So my ads are across the board, just Michael Gombert, except TikTok, because someone got it before I did. I don't know how, and I actually do not even remember my TikTok handle, but it's the only one that's active. So I don't know if it's like official Michael Gombert or it's real Michael Gombert. I don't know what it is. Don't even look at my TikTok. Anything that's posted on my TikTok is being posted across all other platforms. So that's all I got.
Yeah, man, tell your dad to give you a TikTok back, because you're a junior. I see.
I am a junior. He would steal it. I don't think he would know how to, but he would. Right, like, all right, pay me for it.
Yeah, man, it's been an honor, man, and I know we'll be back again. And the school. So I want to tell everyone about the school before we end.
Yeah, go for it.
So I have a school community that'll be coming out, and Michael will be dropping gems in the school too, as well. So we'll have these interviews again, but it'll only be personalized for the school. Michael's very knowledgeable in branding, marketing. He's built business and helped businesses run and scale. So, like I said, reach out to Michael if you need lead generation. If you need anything, just reach out to Michael. He's a very interesting guy. So, thank you, Michael, for joining. And man, until next time.
Yes, sir. Thank you again.
Thank you.